All right, today we're diving into something that could totally change the game for anyone building with AI. It's a service called ToAPIs, and it has this really simple but kind of powerful mission to create one single endpoint to access pretty much all the major AI models out there. So, let's see how they're pulling it off. So if you're a developer working in AI, I bet this sounds painfully familiar, right? You want to use the absolute best model for whatever you're building, but that means you're stuck juggling a different API, a different SDK, and a whole new set of headaches for every single one. It's just this constant battle against complexity, cost, and let's be honest, total chaos. And this really boils down to what I like to call the developer's triple threat. First up, you've got the sheer complexity of just managing all those different integrations. Then there's the unreliability factor. I mean, what do you do when one of those services just goes down right in the middle of something important? And finally, the cost. You get locked into these super expensive subscriptions for models you might not even be using.
Here's a quick sponsor message. This AI API aggregation platform for domestic and international large models lets you access 500 plus AI model APIs at lower cost and with faster integration. Kling v3 is priced at $0.07, and the Nano Banana 2 costs $0.025 per call. Overall pricing is only 20% to 80% of the official rates, with token costs as low as RMB 0.05 per million. It also offers an online playground, so you can freely use text, image, and video models with unlimited concurrency. If a request fails, you'll be refunded. Just click the link in the video description to go directly there. If you want discounts or run into any issues, join our Discord community for prompt support, or add customer service and send the message 6 for one-on-one assistance. All right, back to the video.
All that much. But what if there was a better way? What if you could just streamline all of that? Well, that's the whole idea behind a unified AI gateway. It's all about turning that chaos we talked about into clean, simple, easy access. And listen, we're not just talking about a couple of models here. No, we're talking about over 50 of the industry's biggest players. I mean, think about it. GPT-5, the newest Claude, Gemini, all of them just lined up, ready for you to use through one single point of access. The power of putting all that together in one place, it's huge. Okay, just look at this comparison. It really lays it all out. On one side, you've got the before, that messy tangle of different SDKs, a whole bunch of API keys, and a code base that's probably a nightmare to maintain. Then, on the other side, you've got the with ToAPIs approach. One SDK, one API key, and code that's simple and clean. It is a total night and day difference in both simplicity and speed. Okay, so the code is way simpler. That's a huge win. But what about reliability? I mean, a clean API is awesome, but not if it's constantly going down, right? And that's where this idea of a service that never sleeps really comes into play. So how did they do it? Well, it's powered by this really cool feature called smart routing and auto failover. The best way to think about it is like a super smart GPS for your API calls. If your main route, let's say your go-to AI provider, suddenly hits a major traffic jam or, just closes down for a bit, this system instantly and automatically finds the next best, clearest route through another provider. The result? Your request gets through, and your app, it doesn't even blink. And this is the result of that system. They're backing this thing up with a 99.9% uptime service level agreement. That's true enterprise-grade reliability. And what that really means is you can build your most important business-critical applications on top of this and just trust it. You can have the confidence that it's designed to be always, always on. All right, so we've got simplicity and we've got reliability. Check and check. Now let's tackle that third big headache we talked about. Cost. It's time to talk about escaping the subscription trap. You know how the old model works, right? It locks you into these fixed monthly fees, and they're usually pretty expensive. And you pay for it whether you use the service a ton or not at all. Well, the ToAPIs model is completely different. Here, you just pay per token, literally only for what you use. There are no hidden fees, the rates are often actually cheaper than going direct, and hey, if you're a bigger company, they've even got bulk discounts. And this quote really just sums it all up perfectly. Pay per token, no subscription, cheaper than official, bulk discounts for enterprises. It's all about flexibility, being transparent, and just being smart with your money. You're not throwing cash away on idle time anymore. You're investing it directly into what your application is actually doing. Okay, I know what you might be thinking. Simpler, more reliable, cheaper, that all sounds amazing. But what's the catch? What about the pain of actually switching over, the migration? Well, honestly, this might just be the best part of the whole story. So how simple are we talking? We're talking a 3-step process that takes like 5 minutes. Seriously. Step 1, you get your API key from their dashboard. Step 2, you find that one single line in your code where you set the API endpoint. Step 3, you change it. And that's it. You're done. Finished. And here's the proof right here. If you're using the OpenAI library in your code, this is literally the only change you have to make. You're just changing that base URL. That's it. You're just telling your code to point to a new address. Everything else, all your logic, all your function calls, it all stays exactly the same. And this works for Python, for Node.js, for anything that uses an OpenAI-compatible SDK. So far, we've been talking a lot about text in chat models, right? But this whole unified approach, it goes way beyond just text. We're living in a multimodal future now, and a real unified gateway has to be able to handle all of it. And yeah, ToAPIs does. Through that same simple API, you can get to the latest and greatest models for pretty much any modality you can think of. You want to do chat with something like Claude Sonnet 4.5? Done. Image generation with GPT-4o? Easy. Even crazy stuff like video generation with OpenAI's Sora 2 or Google's Veo 3, it's all there, accessible from that same endpoint. Now, for the more complex stuff like video generation, which, can take a while, the platform has some really critical developer-friendly features built in. It handles these big jobs as asynchronous tasks and uses webhook callbacks. So what does that actually mean? It means your app can just fire off a video request and then go do other things. It doesn't have to sit there and wait. When the video is finally ready, it gets a little notification. It's just a way more efficient way to handle those long-running tasks. Okay, so let's tie this all together. What's the big takeaway from all this? What does this actually mean for your next AI project? Well, it really comes down to these 4 key advantages. You've got the unified API, which gives you simplicity. You've got smart routing, which delivers incredible reliability, that 99.9% uptime. The pay-per-token model gives you economy, saving you money, and that 5-minute migration, that's all about speed. It's really about removing all the friction at every single step of the process. And that kind of leads us to the final big question. When the barriers to using any AI model you want are just gone, when you don't have to worry about the complexity, the reliability, or the cost, what does that unlock for you? So the real question I want to leave you with is, when all of that friction disappears, what will you create next?